how do we market to these people? All right? How do we market to them? First of all,
And you're gonna give us copies of all this,
Oh,
Frank?
yes, yeah.
I'll have to write it down.
I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I got this, tried this combination of I'm very technologically advanced for somebody my age, but I'm still old-fashioned for somebody my age. When I got into real estate, we previewed houses constantly. I mean, it wasn't just tour once a week, okay? You guys, I look at many houses every single week, anywhere from 20 to 30 houses a week every single week.
Oh, my goodness.
I do. Okay?
Still,
Yes, ma'am, I sure do. It's just part of my week. It's part of what I do. Now, the reason I do that is, well, let's jump into it. Okay, so I set a goal for how many I want to preview, and I'm going to go from one extreme to another. I have really two specialties. Okay, Berry Creek is one of them, and then my niche, which is a much larger market. Okay, in Berry Creek at any given time, there's 25 to 30 homes in the market. That's easy to keep previewed. My niche will have 300. Okay, but I've seen just about all of them. Now, here's the thing: I get a call on one of my listings, and it doesn't work. I can immediately move on to one because I know the homes and I've seen them. When I'm sitting in front of I've sold many houses like that. When I'm sitting in front of a seller, you guys, nobody can tell them about the other houses like I can. And they're always very, very impressed that I've actually been inside them. And I'm making a point for them to be aware of that. Now, once again, I'm just telling you how I work, okay? So I set a goal for how many. Let's just say there's 25 to 30 houses in the market, and you want to have seen all of them. Well, see a couple, 3 a day, and then in a few weeks you'll have seen them all. Then you just see them as they come on the market. Okay. All I do is my assistant just calls, or if my assistant is busy that day, I'll just call. I'll go, "Hi, Frank, Stuart, Sutton, and Remax. I'm going to be in the neighborhood looking at a couple houses for a buyer. Would you mind if I stop by about 1 o'clock?" Nobody cares. Matter of fact, I'm going to take the next step, which is probably going to, what's your name?
Michelle.
It's going to get Michelle back on the hot track.
Oh, no.
But I have had many people whose homes I've previewed after their home expired call me because they said, "You're the only one who took the time to come see the house." Now, I'd go see the house because I like, when I show a buyer, I want to know what I'm showing them. I don't want to go in and go, "Oh yeah, obviously this doesn't work. We should have known." I don't want to waste their time. I can be in and out of a house in 3, 4, 5 minutes versus showing somebody and kicking the seller out. Okay, so I preview houses, and I'm going to share with you guys, in Berry Creek alone, expired listings are a huge part of ramping up a farm, in any farm, okay? And I'm gonna get into something in a few minutes that's more important than I can tell you. It's called multi-touch. The more different ways they hear from you and match you to Berry Creek or your farm, the more likely they are to call you, okay?
How many homes are in Berry Creek?
879. Okay. Now, there's a little area called the Villages that has 200 more, but I really work Berry Creek, not the Villages of Berry Creek, which is a little outside of it. Okay? I like 1,000 is really good because it takes that many to get enough sales. Berry Creek just happens to be a very high turnover neighborhood. That's why it's okay to have below 1,000 at 879. Okay. So anyway, and then I'll leave the card, of course, and that's a very courteous thing to do. So here's what I do basically. I want to know the product for 2 reasons. When I get a listing appointment, there's nobody that can compete with me as far as product knowledge of the houses, you guys. Nobody. And for buyers, okay? I get a call on one of my Berry Creek listings. They call on the sign, and my direct line's on the sign. That's what I love about Remax. Okay, it's not a phone room that's going to some agent who's never seen the home. And I tell that to the sellers. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, does it make sense to have someone call a phone number on a sign that goes to someone who doesn't even know your home? Of course it does. Remax, this is the way we do it, all right? So
So
they
you're
call
selling
me.
the company as much as you're selling.
Well, I sell myself a lot more than the company,
Yeah.
but I do give the company lots of credit.
Yeah, okay.
So, when they call me and they say, well, and this just happened to me, that's probably a little bit too much house for us, because I've got one that's a little over 4,000 square feet. I said, well, are you looking, this one has a pool, are you looking for a pool? Yeah, we really want a pool. Well, there's only 2 other homes in the market in Bear Creek with a pool. Here's one and here's one. Would either of those fit you? Yeah, that sounds like it might. Tell me more. See what I'm saying, you guys? I know that, I've been in the houses. Okay, I can say, Michelle, that house has been nicely updated with one exception. They haven't done the hall bathroom yet, but they would have done it next year if they hadn't been transferred, but the house is completely updated except for the hall bathroom. I know, I've seen it, I've been in it. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay. Now, and also, you're gonna be supporting other agents. You guys, when I have a listing, I like agents to come through it. And it's okay with me if they're previewing or showing it. My sellers are happy to have agents coming through, all right? So here's what I show in my listing presentation. This is a list of the homes that are active in Berry Creek. What do you think the ones that highlighted are? Ones that have been in. It makes a very strong impression. Okay? Makes a very strong impression. Now, you don't have to preview 20 or 30 homes a week like I do. If you're farming an area that has 25 actives, maybe it's going to have 100 to 120 homes on the market over the next year. That's 2 a week, you guys. That's easy. Previewing the homes in a farm is easy. Matter of fact, it's nearly inexcusable not to.
There's still some new construction in there?
Very little.
2 KV lots there?
Very little. Yeah.
Very little?
Yeah, there's one little section that KV's building some houses on.
You know, it's interesting because how many times have you done a present, or any of us have done a presentation, and you give them the comps and talk to them about it? It seems everyone, they'll say, have you been in that one? You got a really good point when it comes to that, because when I think back on it now, have you seen the inside of that? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and.
Well, you know what's funny is,
Yeah.
in today's environment, a
And they
lot
may
of times,
have, yeah.
a lot of times they know the houses better than we do.
Yeah, because they've gone to a helping house.
Yeah.
And I think it also stops the traditional of, well, this house looks a hell of a lot worse than it does in the pictures.
Yeah.
Or the pictures are horrible and the house
Yeah.
looks fantastic, you know, vice versa, he's right.
But y'all are all exactly right on that track, because if they say, well, yeah, that was the Jones's house, and we remember they had this and that's not, I said, well, you know what, they changed that before they put it on the market. You remember how the kitchen was really small? Well, actually, they opened up that wall, and it looks much better now. They go, oh. So I know what I'm talking about, okay? So we're talking about marketing, you guys, and the next thing, and this really should have been in the probably in the branding section, but I go out and get every domain name that I can use that relates to the farm, okay? My main site is cberrycreekhomes.com. I do updates at berrycreekthisweek.com. All the stats are at berrycreekstats.com. Berry Creek coming soon. Whenever I have a home that's I've listed it and we're putting it on the market in a couple of weeks, I put it on berrycreekcomingsoon.com and I market it. Okay. berrycreekservice.com is my service to Berry Creek. So I send them to that to see what I do for the sellers in Berry Creek. berrycreekrescues.com is homes that were on the market, didn't sell, and I came in and sold them. So I rescued that home seller. So it's got a little video showing what I did. This home was on the market for this long and it didn't sell because of this. Here's what we did. We came in and we did this and this and we sold it in 3 weeks, okay? And then Berry Creek Values obviously is where they can find out what their homes were. So all the domains I can grab, and I've actually probably got this many over again, regarding different scenarios regarding that neighborhood. And on my website, some of these are landing individual pages, but most of them are pages on cberrycreekhomes.com. So on your website, do you have a page where you can or offer a home value? Everybody here have a website? Okay, and you have a page on your website where they can say, we want to know our home's value?
Yeah.
Well, all I do is point Berry Creek Values to that page. So when they type in Berry Creek Values, it goes to that page on the website. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, once again, anything I can do to match me to Berry Creek, okay? You know what my email address is?
got Berry Creek in it.
Stuart at seaberrycreekhomes.com. That's exactly right.
Stuart at
Stuart@seaberrycreekhomes.com. You know what my regular email address is? Stuart@stuartsutton.com. You know what my email address is for everyone who owns a home on a everyone who owns a Yes. I specialize in homes on an acre or more. Everyone who owns a home on an acre or more who receives marketing from me sees an email address, Stuart@oneacreplus.com. Okay? It's pretty expensive, guys. It's nearly $9 a year.
What happens when you reply to those people?
All comes from Stuart@stuartsutton.com.
It just, oh,
They just
It
link
does.
to your email address and
Yep.
you just link.
I just
it.
pointed to, it's like pointing a domain.
Yeah.
I just forward the email to my regular email.
Mhm.
I don't have to have a bunch of different emails. It all comes in the same box.
Mhm.
but I meant when you reply from that,
Right.
from your basic, your primary email server,
Then it just goes,
it doesn't show Stuart at Seabury Creek Homes.
right, Stuart@stuartsutton.com.
It does eventually fade up.
Correct.
Okay,
That's
that's what I was
correct.
wondering.
You're
It's
exactly
just the
right.
initial contact.
That's correct.
Find you.
Yeah.
Find yourself.
Okay. All right, so who are we going to market to, you guys? We've got all these great things that are already done. Now, who are we going to market to? Well, the database of those who own the properties in your farm that sell the best. That's where I'd start, and that's where I'd focus. Okay? If you don't want to take on a farm that's 1,000 and send out 1,000 mailers constantly, pick out the homes that sell the best. Why? Because you're most likely to get the listings the fastest and get them sold the fastest and have success the fastest. Now, how do you find out? It's called the multiple listing service. Okay? The houses in Berry Creek that sell the best, I can already tell you, are one-story homes with 4 bedrooms in between 300 and 450,000. So guess what I did? I went to the tax records, identified all those, popped them to my list. That's why I can't use EDDM.
Right.
Because I want those people to get a certain mailing. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
Okay. So I first identified the fastest, best-selling houses in the neighborhood and started mailing to them. And then I expanded to where I'm mailing to the whole neighborhood. But I wanted to get a foot in the door as quick as I could. And there's 2 ways to do that. Expireds and those houses that sell the fastest. All right, so I'm going to get into expireds in just a second. Okay, so you just got to do a little bit of research to find out what sells the best, and you rotate your mailings. The type of mailings I send to my farm, you guys, are informational pieces and marketing pieces. Now, what are informational pieces? Stats, details about real estate. One of the easiest ones for me, and I do this constantly, is what was the third quarter of 16 like compared to the third quarter of 15? What was 2015 like compared to 2014? Those are just easy, okay? And then marketing pieces. These are pieces designed to get response, designed for them to take some sort of action, okay? So 2 types of pieces, informational and marketing. Informational could just be a list of home sales. And you can do this online as well. You can just send them a piece that sends them online rather than just sending them the list. I find that some people really like paper lists though.
Yeah.
Okay? So I haven't taken everything online. And here's an informational card, Berry Creek This Week. Now, if y'all go to berrycreekthisweek.com, I used to keep it up every single week. I really don't anymore because I've found that, especially in the fourth quarter, the weeks aren't that busy sometimes at Berry Creek. So I've started, instead of marketing berrycreekthisweek.com, I market berrycreekstats.com a lot more, okay? But this is what I mean by an informational piece. And people in Berry Creek go to my website to get information constantly.
So this domain would go to a landing page on
That's correct.
seaberrycreekhomes.com.
That's correct.
Okay, I got you.
You got it, okay? And then when they get there, they would see a video. And this video is basically going to tell them about the statistics that are going on. And if y'all want me to get on live before I leave, I'd be happy to show you some of my landing pages and videos. So here's what I do, you guys. For every listing I get, I send out a coming soon card. Now y'all are thinking, well, that's a lot of people. 1,000 coming soon, 1,000. Hang on just a second. Don't get scared about the money. First, I send out a coming soon card that says, hey, that great floor plan everybody wants is coming soon at 207 Lancaster Drive. Now, I don't have any pictures yet. I mean, it's coming soon, I don't have any pictures yet. I also build out a coming soon page. So berrycreekcomingsoon.com is a real page on my website. Okay? So they go to berrycreekcomingsoon.com and they see it's just bullet points about that house. And it says, hey, it's coming soon. If you want to take a sneak peek before it hits the market, let me know. Okay? So I send this card out, and that's where it goes. For example, that is what Berry Creek Coming Soon looks like, 207 Lancaster Drive, and it just has the bullet points on the house. All right? Now, when it goes on the market, they get a card that says, new to the market, that floor plan everybody wants in Berry Creek. And the reason I said that is because it's a one-story home, nothing's upstairs but the game room and the bathroom, okay? And everybody loves that floor plan. So every listing I put on the market has its own unique address domain. So this card says, take a look at details at 207lancasterdrive.com. And as you can see, that's the biggest font, right?
So you've got all bullet points, no description, like lovely family room, beautiful.
On the coming soon, right?
Yeah, but it's all bullet points, it's all there.
Right, on this.
And all
right.
they have to do is just look at the, okay.
Yeah. Now, it gets different on the other cards. Take a look at this. Now, that takes them to, and once again, I can show you live. This is just a screenshot of what the page looks like. So I've got pictures all the way down, mapping and videos and everything on this page. Okay. Now, when it goes pending, 15 Saracen Loop under contract in 17 days. Okay. So, coming soon, on the market, pending, and sold. You think they think I'm selling a lot of houses?
Yeah.
You guys, I can sell one house and they think I'm the #1 agent. in the
Right, and they don't read them all, they just see your card coming through
You got it.
constantly.
You got it.
Okay.
So here's the sold card, okay? 415 Champions sold in 0 days. By the way, I sold that house 3 years ago. I've got it listed right now. I just got an offer on it. So here's the deal with this. How do you rotate them? Well, I take the fastest selling homes, then the next two, and then the slowest, and I rotate these, all right? And what I mean by that is, take a look at this, okay? Group 1 gets the, so if I list a house at 207 Lancaster, Group 1 gets the coming soon card. When it gets listed, Group 2 gets a just listed card. You see what I'm saying? I'm not sending 879 people every card.
Sweet.
I'm just rotating. And it's like 60 or 70 or 80 bucks to send each group. And then when it goes pending, Group 3 gets the pending and Group 4 gets the sold. When the next listing comes, Group 2 gets the coming soon. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's nice.
Now, what happens after you start getting market share and commissions and money's rolling in and you don't know how to spend it, then you can double that. So I've actually gone from 4 groups to 2 groups.
Make it easier.
So now they get twice as many mailings.
The vendor that you mentioned for your direct mail, is that who's doing these postcards for you?
Yes, tpmco.com.
Gotcha.
So do they kind of design everything for you?
No, I do it all.
Been sending out just-
It's easy. I mean, all of these, y'all can use and copy anything I've got, I don't care. I make all those. And what I'm trying to do here, this home, see, I want them to know the story, all right? See, if you read up there, the sailors, a lot of people knew the sailors. I mean, they know who they are. Okay? The sailors hoped to move to a home on some land, and but needed to sell their home first. After a long time in the market with another agent, they were quite discouraged. Then after reading Stuart's aggressive, proactive marketing proposal, they called him good decision. Their home was under contract before it even hit the market.
You sold it
So I
in
want them to know
0
the story.
days. You sold it in 0 days.
Wow.
0 days, that's correct.
Did an agent who had shown it previously write the contract? No. You sold it in, oh.
Is that allowed?
Oh, no, it's just a good, it would be, it's really interesting.
I do that
Okay,
so often
right.
that RE/MAX 1 had to actually create a form for me. So the buyer would sign something saying, Stuart doesn't represent us, we know he doesn't represent us, we admit over and over and over he doesn't represent us, we could have gotten another agent, we didn't get another agent, Stuart doesn't represent us, Stuart doesn't represent us, okay?
We used to have a form like that when I was licensed in Michigan,
Yeah,
and then you were helped, you could
right.
get into a big.
But you gotta be very careful with that. I do it so much, I'm very cautious. I just did it again in Berry Creek. And once again, you guys, I've done it 3 times this summer in Berry Creek.
You never do intermediary then, and
Because, oh, no, if you hire me as a seller, I'm your representative.
so you won't do intermediary?
No.
Okay.
So you don't get double commission? You don't get the whole commission?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the listing broker who gets paid the commission.
Listen to this.
He doesn't share.
Yeah,
So, but here's what the sellers love. I actually reduce it a little bit because I've got both sides to save on money. But you guys,
do
I'm
you
not gonna
check the
advocate.
variable fee in MLS?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm not gonna advocate this, but it happens to me because of the way we market. And so many people see our stuff, and so many people call me directly to find out about a house. Yes, sir.
How did you say it made him $8,500?
Because they paid 4% instead of 6%.
That is illegal.
I had an agent call me and say, well, if you're cutting commissions in Berry Creek, how can we compete with you? And I said, I don't know, I guess you have to do
Your
your
problem.
best.
Go somewhere else.
But anyway, I'm not cutting commissions. This seller paid 4% because there wasn't another agent to share the commission.
That's legal.
Okay.
No problem.
Of course. Okay, now, you'll notice on the left-hand side, it says, this home has been in the market for 8 months with another broker, and then Stuart sold it in 0 days. All right? So, and here's the thing, you guys. These things will happen to you, but you gotta immerse yourself. And once again, I tend to be blunt, and I apologize, but throwing a mailing once a month out at a geographic area is not farming. Okay? So many people think it is, and that's why so many people say, it takes 3 years to get a foothold. Okay, it doesn't have to. Once you've seen every house in your neighborhood on the market, you know more about your market than anybody else, because no one else has seen that.
Yep, that's right.
Everybody agree with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
Now, I also took it up on myself to go to the country club, talk to them, find out all the details, but I don't know the pro at the club, and I don't know the person who runs it. And all. I could do that, but I want to be known as the real estate expert, period. Okay? You don't have to be a member of the club and a great golfer and buddies with everybody to sell a lot of real estate in the neighborhood, and I've proven that, okay? All right, so let's kind of continue. So I've talked about the rotating and how I do that. One of the things that, remember we talked about the guarantee earlier? What I did in Berry Creek was start branding landing pages and sending them to pages about what kind of service I provide. So let me back up here. Did anybody notice the list on the right? Okay, so when I put a home on the market, here's what I do. Every seller, virtually in our market, buys a warranty for the buyer to cover them for 1 year.
Right.
Is the seller covered by a warranty during the listing?
No.
If you
Mine.
sign him up,
You sign him up. So we sign them up, and we take care of that expense if there is one, okay? Now, I can't tell you how many times we've saved our seller money because their dishwasher went out during the listing, and air conditioner went out during the listing, okay? And the other reason it helps is when the buyer comes in and has an inspection and say, well, you need this fixed, this, and fixed, we just call the warranty company for the things that are covered, all right? So, what does the second one say? Your home is inspected by a professional. Now, I'm gonna scare you guys a little bit. I pay for all this. Now, don't get scared by that. My seller's paid for it for years. It's needed. Measure twice, cut once is my philosophy. Let's get ahead of things. Why not find out about things that need to be repaired that an inspector's gonna find before the buyer comes along with an inspector and finds them? Does that make sense, you guys?
Do you
There's
list
not a
the-
seller anywhere that'll disagree with you.
Do you list the inspection on the listing? Do you put the inspection on the listing?
Yes. If you get a report, you absolutely
do you use
disclose
the
that report.
same inspector on every,
I use whoever the seller wants to, if they know someone, or I give
Okay.
them,
but you
you know,
try
the
not
ones
to,
that we
because it would
use.
look funny if it was the same
Yeah,
inspector
of course,
on,
yeah.
okay.
Now, there's also companies that'll do what are called walk-through inspections. And what they do is they walk through and give a consultation to the homeowner, and the homeowner takes notes about what they should do. That's not a disclosable report, okay? There are companies will do that, and it's becoming quite popular. But what we do is, what's
Do
that?
you recommend doing
Oh,
that?
yeah, we do that as well, yeah.
No cost?
If we want the, no, it's about half the price of a regular inspection. You pay them for their time.
Yeah, which one do you do the most? Like
The most is the walkthrough,
Big.
yeah.
Oh, you do that the most?
The most, yeah. Yeah.
Is that what
And
they
so
call
you
a
don't have
listing?
to disclose it.
A
Do what?
pre-inspection?
Then
Okay,
you.
that's a pre-inspection, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
because I saw that and
Yes.
I hadn't seen it before,
Uh-huh.
and it was
Yeah.
displayed in
Yeah.
a binder when we
Yeah.
were looking at homes.
Every home I list has been inspected, either by a walkthrough inspection or a full report.
Okay.
So the next step that we do, what does the next one say? Repairs.
Repairs.
So I bring in a handyman if certain things need to be done based on that inspection report. And I take care of those things.
You pay for it?
I do. Now,
What
hang
if
on,
it's-
I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna tell you guys what.
Major.
I'm gonna tell you guys how, all right?
Uh-huh.
Then, your home is professionally staged, and your home is professionally photographed, multiple videos. So basically what I'm doing is going down a list of things that they're looking and going, wait a minute, we've never had an agent do this.
Number 3's the only hard one on there.
What's number 3?
Repairs, how
Well,
are
not-
you getting that done?
Not if you get in a good relationship with, so here's what I do, you guys. Years ago, I realized that I was going in with every seller and saying, all right, let's get you an inspection, let's get you staged, let's get these repairs done, let's get your landscaping spiffed up. And here's the thing, they would do it 8 out of 10 times.
Yes.
And then as time went by, I saw it drop to 7 out of 10, and then 6 out of 10. So what I realized was a lot of sellers don't have the time, and some don't have the wherewithal. So what I did was on a sale, I held back $1,000. And on my next listing, I said, I have a budget, and I'm gonna take care of the inspection. I think it's so important that I'm gonna take care of it and do it for you. And I think it's so important that you get staged, I'm gonna pay for it. Now, I think it's so important that you get that red wall painted in the dining room that I'm gonna have someone come paint it. Now, if all these things add up, you know what my average expenditures are in a listing? $793. Okay, if it exceeds 1,000, I ask the seller for their permission, and they will pay the rest. Okay. Now, here's the thing. In my mind, and I think it's all about how you think about things sometimes, I'm rolling $1,000 over to every listing. In some agents' mind, if they list 75 houses, they're spending 75 grand, which is true. But how many more listings did I get?
So, what, can I ask a question? What if it's like major repairs?
Oh, yeah, I've got a small budget.
So you clarify that in the beginning?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, nothing's,
Oh, air conditioners.
nothing's
Yeah,
gray.
okay.
I mean, it's black and white. This is what I do. Now, here's the thing, you guys. I've got cards, and I'll open them for you in a minute. But my cards, a lot of the marketing I do now in Berry Creek and other areas basically says, why list your home with someone who's gonna service and market it just like every other listing they have? When you could hire someone who's gonna design a very specific program for you and your home. And here's what I mean by that. I'll have sellers who don't need a stager. Their home looks like a model. But they've got 2 stories of windows in the family room that you can hardly see through because they're filthy. I'll bring in a window washer and clean them. Okay? I'll bring it looks like the house needs to be painted. It doesn't.
One size
I'll bring in a
doesn't
power
fit all.
washer. I'll bring in a power washer to wash the gutters and stuff for them. Okay? But I have a budget. If it exceeds that budget, all right? Now, let me tell you about the kind of testimonials I get from people. They are absolutely incredible. You guys, what I spend, my income went up far more the next year after I started doing that. It went up far more than what I'm spending to get those listings ready. And the sellers, the referrals I get increased from the sellers I take care of. Does that make sense, you guys?
None of them ask you to discount
No,
their
will you give
listing
us
price.
No.
a piece of that?
I will.
Okay,
Absolutely
I'll
not.
look at it.
Well,
What's the
But
question?
this is a good way to keep, to turn on
What did you say no
that.
to?
Was
So
there
many
another
people-
question?
What did you say no to? What did you say no to?
Oh, she said,
So many people are like, we do for 2%, such and such will do it for 2%.
Oh, okay.
You know, but this is a good way to say, like, this is what I offer for 8%.
well, and here's a good question. Here's a good thing, you guys. I hear this all the time. What do you say when someone asks you to lower your commission? My response to that is, I don't know. No one ever asked me.
Ooh.
And I'm not being arrogant, you guys. I never get asked to. I mean, the level of service I provide is extraordinary. Nobody ever asked me. Okay?
And that costs a lot less than
It
1%.
absolutely does. $797 is a lot less than lowering the commission a 0.5% or 1%.
So,
Oh, go ahead, Michelle.
no, Bev,
My question was simply, do you ever go into that home that you're looking around and it's really a hot mess? Like your $1,000 is just gonna be a tip of the iceberg.
Where are you from originally?
Guess.
Somewhere where they say hot mess.
Bam's answer, where you from, girl?
Anyway.
That
And then they wanna
Chicago, I
list
think.
it so
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
that, you know, you're just thinking, I really don't care for this listing.
And your name's
You don't
Deb?
think- Pardon me?
And your name's Deb?
Bev.
Bev.
Yeah.
Bev, you know what, I've been in the real estate business a long time, and I've got the luxury of not taking every listing
So you
that
don't.
sellers ask me to take. And I think it's probably best under these circumstances that you list your home with someone who might have a little different arrangement and more ability to take care of you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I really don't, I'm not gonna take a listing. Now, the other thing is, it's rare that if you are, and I'll use the word blunt, if you're blunt and you're professional and you let them know how to get from A to B. You guys, I've walked into some of the most disgusting houses you've ever seen, where the seller said, well, you know, other agents were just rude. But I patiently showed them how to get from A to B to get their home sold. And by the time they had it on the market, you'd have never known that it used to be a mess because it showed beautifully, okay? So I just prefer to be one of those agents who gives them the chance to get from A to B. But if they won't, then I'm just not gonna spend the time on it because there are other people who need. Go ahead.
I had just been in a NCE class about 2 weeks ago, and it was a really well-respected trainer, and he really called us out bad for doing repairs for our absentee sellers, whether it's pre-listing or after listing, because of these huge liability things.
Mhm.
Do you have any input on that?
I sure do. I don't do any repairs for anybody. My handyman will go over and agree to what they're going to do with the seller. I happen to have that in my
But
budget.
they're I said
there's no liability.
absentee owners,
Right, I don't,
vacant homes.
right.
So you go out to a vacant home, and what do you do in that situation?
Well, if the home is vacant and it needs a repair done, the handyman is going to talk to the seller about what they're going to do and get their approval. Absolutely. That's a very good point. I agree with you. Now, I do have, and my favorite kind of client is one who says, whatever you think, Stuart. And that's my favorite kind. So when I say there are things we need to do here, how do you want to handle it? Whatever you think, Stuart. Well, I don't just say, all right, well, I'll have my handyman do it. No, I have my handyman agree with them what he's going to do and how he's going to do it, and then he takes care of it.
But you wrote the $1,000 check. See?
Right, I
You
paid
wrote
him
the
to do what,
$1,000 check.
I paid him to do what they agreed to do. That doesn't put me in a liability
So
position.
the contract's between them
That's
and,
correct.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
trying
No, I
to get
understand,
it
I understand.
very
Yeah, you
lined
like your
out.
eyes dotted and your T's
I
crossed,
do.
and I agree with you.
I do.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into a few things here. Berry Creek Real Estate Stats, questions no one else seems to be able to answer. These are other marketing cards. So we've talked about coming soon, listed, pending, sold. Okay, here's some others. Berry Creek Real Estate Stats, questions no one else. My Berry Creek home is on the golf course. How much is that worth? Okay, now, very sincerely, most agents don't know that. Even those who claim to be specialists in Berry Creek, okay? There's a specific value to being on the golf course. There's no guesswork. The market will pay you more, a lot more. In Berry Creek, it's 11.3% more. If you're on the golf course, you can get 11.3% more for your home than a similar home that's not on the golf course, okay? I have a pool. Is it true that my pool doesn't add much market value and that it makes my home harder to sell? Answer, both are myths. Pools add big money in Berry Creek and homes with pools sell faster. This is true. Most people think, oh, pool's hard to sell, and especially in the winter. You can pool homes in Berry Creek sell faster in December. Okay.
Which is like Wood Forest. Wood Forest is such a new development. Last time I looked, there was 141 listings on the market, including new builds, and only 11 homestead pools.
Wow. So you know information like that where other people don't. Yep. That's a big neighborhood. 141 homes. Wow.
A lot of new construction. It's a new development.
Okay. So basically, is the real estate market as hot as everyone? Well, answer Berry Creek. I can't read this real. Berry Creek is strong but performs differently because it does perform differently than the overall market. Matter of fact, usually takes a little longer to sell. List to sell ratio slightly more in Berry Creek, but once again, very steady, very consistent. And I send them to berrycreekstats.com. Now, what have I done just before I put that card out? Well, I put some stats up there to show what I did, okay? So people in Berry Creek start finding that they can get information from me and my site and my sources. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So every month I update 5 major stats. If you go to berrycreekstats.com, you'll see what October 1st stats were, okay? This is a landing page that does nothing except do a market analysis for them. As soon as they do this and get a market analysis, they get an email from me that says, hey, you know that was automated. I mean, come on, how accurate could it be? If you'd like me to come over and take a look at your house and give you an accurate estimate, I'd be happy to. If you're okay with this one, that's fine too.
What service does that for you?
Clientcreator.com.
Okay, thank you.
It's basically a service with landing pages and email campaigns, and I think it's $50 a month.
Clientcreator.com.
Clientcreator.com.
Thank you.
I kind of have a question. I'm running you backwards a little bit, if it's okay.
Sure.
On that, your investment in each new listing, and as you brought on these 7 other team members who do their own farming, did they have any learning curves and get burned on spending some $1,000s on some listings that didn't sell? Did they have any learning curves?
Oh, sure, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Now, we're very careful. I rarely, if, for example, Michelle, if you listed your house with me and we put it on the market and we had window washers come out and I had a landscaper come out and freshen up all your mulch and a stager come out and stage your home, and then we put it on the market and you called me and said, Stuart, our transfer fell through, I wouldn't ask you for any money back. I mean, that's part of doing business. I've got it built into my profit system. I'm a small businessman. If I don't know my costs and my profits, you know, it's like not knowing my numbers on a farm. I mean, I know my numbers. So, but it happens so rarely that I don't get my money back. That
What if they
it's
just
not,
change their mind and you have $700 in photography?
well, that's what I've got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always tell them if they change their mind, they need to pay me for my photography and my
Okay,
brochures.
that's up to you. That's the way
And
you
they're,
do
and
business.
they're happy
Yeah.
to do it,
Yeah, sure.
you know? Now, I don't if their listing expires.
Of course. No, I understand completely.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody runs their business the way they see best for them and their clients, absolutely. This is just another branded landing page. Basically, we look for people who might want to sell their home but haven't decided to yet. Because we have a pool of buyers. We have buyers who come to our websites looking for homes in Berry Creek. Now, you got to understand, this is a pretty small market, you guys. I'm not going to run a Facebook ad and get 30 or 40 or 50,000 likes, you know. I mean, I'll run a Facebook post and promote the post and have 1,800, 2,000 people look at it. I mean, let's face it, there aren't 200,000 people looking at Berry Creek, which is a neighborhood of 879 houses. You see what I'm saying? So you got to take that all down and scale it down, okay? And that's, I think I showed you that earlier, that's the main, seedberrycreekhomes.com. And now these are just some cards that, that I send out as, you know, continually as marketing cards. I actually have done a series. I'm not sure if I should admit this.
Yes, you should.
Yes,
You already started it.
I've
We
done a
won't
series of
follow any
cards that
ethics
says,
grievances
oh, I
against
don't ever do anything unethical. What agents will not tell you.
you.
even if you
Agents
ask
will not tell you.
Okay, I've done a series of cards like this, and I track who comes to the sites. The first one,
Agents.
the second one, more than doubled. The third one doubled again. Okay? And I sent these out a month apart. The first one was pricing, what agents won't tell you about pricing. The second was what agents won't tell you about preparation. The third is presentation, and the fourth is promotion. Okay? And again, I'd be happy to show you the pages. But these series of cards accomplish two things. There's an expectation, well, this is 1 of 4, where's 2 of 4?
Right,
See what I'm saying?
right.
And secondly, it tells them things that they really, I mean, guys, when we're sitting in front of sellers, they know what agents say in what really might be the case or might be real estate rhetoric. And they, in their heart, know the real truth of the matter. What I really try to do is point out the real truth of the matter. Okay? And I tend to be pretty blunt. I mean, I tell people like it is. I don't pull any punches. And I use that line in just about every appointment, and people say, well, we want you to be blunt. Well, they just give me permission
Yeah, but you
to
do
be
it humbly.
courteously brutal.
You do it humbly,
Do it humbly.
which is much different than brutal.
Right.
The truth humbly is
You got
different than the truth brutal.
Got it. In hot markets, agents will price homes too high, thinking any price will sell. This is the truth. Agents who list all over the market aren't familiar with different sections and builders and et cetera in Berry Creek. Using price per square foot is inaccurate. The number you price your home for can dramatically affect how many buyers will see it. So if they want more, they can go to pricemylisting.com. Okay? And then under preparations, I've got 4 things. Under presentation, I've got 4 things. And under promotion, I've got 4 things. So basically I'm saying, hey, agents aren't going to tell you these things. Agents aren't going to tell you that price per square foot is inaccurate, because most of them don't know it is. Okay? So this is just a screenshot of the landing page that they go to. All right? Now I think I've got the second one I do there. What agents will not tell you about selling your home, secret 2 of 4, preparing your home for sale. Have an inspection before you place your home on the market. Make the repairs before you put your home on the market. Use a professional stager before you put your home on the market, et cetera, okay? And there's a landing page for that one. See if I've got 3 on here. I don't. Anyway, the Facebook business page, I do promoted posts. And this little series kind of shows you how to do the promoted posts. If none of you've ever done one, I think this is outdated because they change it so often. But does everybody know what a promoted post is? Okay. No? Would you like me to give you a very quick synopsis?
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
what it is.
What a promoted post is when you put a listing or any post, just go to your business page, you put your post on there, you can actually promote that to a targeted audience. Now, what do I mean by a targeted audience? I mean people who'd be interested in seeing it. I don't shotgun anything. And I tell my sellers this. I say, listen, Bev, it's much more effective if I were to hit 2,000 people who are truly interested in a home like yours 4 times than hitting 8,000 people once who are just a generic group. Does that make sense? Do you believe that, Bev? And sellers agree with it. They believe it because it's true. Okay, so what I do is Facebook has a really cool marketing platform. Okay, let me see how much of it it'll show here. Let me see. Basically, what you're going to do is post something. For example, this listing is incredible. It's got a pool, blah blah blah, and then you're going to create an ad. All right, and then you're going to choose an audience for that ad. And when you choose an audience, it gives you all kinds of things you can identify as what their interests are, what their income is, what their location is, whether they own a home, whether they're thinking about buying a home. And how does Facebook do all that? Because we blab everything on Facebook. And they have, I mean, they know all the information, okay? So you can even, I've got one agent who has been so successful with targeting an audience who like the middle school her kids go to, okay? So she continually markets her homes in that area to those people. Does that make sense, you guys? So this is, and I show my Berry Creek sellers how we do this, but it's a country club community. So guess what kind of people I target? People who like golf, okay? People who like golf with a certain income, in a certain age range, in a certain demographic, okay? Now I'm not going to promote it to people who like golf who live in Maine, okay? Or I'm not going to promote it to people who love golf who are 23 years old, because nobody 23 years old is going to buy a house in Berry Creek. Okay.
Well, I'm going to show how stupid I am. Does that cost, is that?
That's pretty expensive. It can run nearly $12.
$12 a day,
So-
isn't it? It's like,
Yeah, I do it for a
Per-
24-hour period.
okay. So that, yeah.
So a
that's-
24-hour period, I'll average between 18 and 2,400 people see it, and it costs me anywhere from $10 to $15.
So you narrow down your audience so much
correct.
that.
And I only do it
it's
for
gonna
24
hit-
hours.
It's gonna hit them every time they pretty much
Yeah,
go on
it
Facebook.
is, it's easy.
So Remax of Texas gave a detailed presentation on how to do this at the Top 500 retreat. I've requested those slides. I should have them within a week, and I'll share them with the office. But it is literally step by step how you make these posts.
Facebook walks you through it very easy.
It's
Yeah,
really
it does.
So this is your answer, because I was just gonna ask you the question. Well, first of all, compliment on you for saying that you're very blunt.
Thank you.
When I'm with my buyers, I always start them off by saying, I'm that other agent. I'm gonna walk in the house and point out 20 things wrong before I tell you what I see right about the house.
Yeah,
And the first comment I get back is, that's what we want.
yeah, got it.
We want somebody who's gonna tell us honestly,
They really do, yeah.
you know, what we think of the house. But this is your answer for meeting the millennials versus the postcard. So you're hitting the millennials via this way, your postcard for your traditional,
Yep.
probably over 40.
Yep,
Okay.
you got it. So basically, between 25 and 45, they're gonna go mobile, they're gonna go Facebook. 45 to 55, it'll go both ways. Over 55, it's nearly mail and PCs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
PC, I'm sorry, what's PC?
Personal computer.
Oh.
Laptop.
Okay, so we've talked about the big group, right? The people that live in the neighborhood. The next group is expireds. You guys, if you're farming an area, that's your fastest way into the area. When a home expires. Now, if you don't like to work expireds, don't worry about it. It's not the same. We're working the farm area. And when a home expires, it's free game. Anybody can talk to the seller about listing it. So I just keep a watch every single day and very frequently. Every day without fail, and if something expires, guess what? I pop a package in the mail to them that says, hey, your home came off the market. What should you do now?
Do
And
y'all
the pack-
have excessive agents taking the homes off the market and re-entering them? Do y'all have?
They
we
can't
have-
do that.
Here it's done probably on 70% of all.
Yeah, it makes it hard to go after expired
Yeah.
because they'll do it
It's
and
not
then say,
enforced
oh
here.
no, we're gonna put it back
Oh, so it's
on."
not, it's
It's
enforced.
not
in most-
enforced here that you aren't supposed to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it's
enforced.
really
Well, we don't want the
makes
number of
it,
days to show up on
It's
them.
silly, we can still see cumulative days on
Yeah.
market.
But here's the thing, you guys, and y'all mind if I'm blunt?
Yes, go ahead.
You know how many people, because it expired, I legitimately, let's confirm with Frank, have the right to
Yes.
send a marketing piece to them, right?
Sure.
Of course.
absolutely,
You know how many relist and,
for 30 days, 60 days.
but how many relist and then call me 3 days later?
Oh, yeah.
I just listed a house Wednesday who relisted on the Friday before with her agent, got my package, and of course we withdrew her, we took her out of the database when she listed. She called me on Monday and said, I relisted, but I just don't know if I should have. And then I got your package and I thought, well, maybe I should at least talk to you. She withdrew her listing from her agent and listed it with me. So-
And you got the unconditional withdrawal from her.
Yes, we did. We always do.
Listen, I just,
Withdrawal. It's unconditional withdrawal.
it's what you want. When you list a house that the owner says they got a release.
Would you do me a favor?
No,
Could I
sir.
have you look at my will? I want to make sure everything's in place. And you're the person
You
for
might
that.
want me to, honestly, it's pretty bad. That's why I'm a low producer, because I can sit around making sure everything's done right.
We know.
Happily though, happily.
All right, so then, after they get the package, if they didn't relist, they get another card. If you're a real estate agent and offering a listing back guarantee, ask them why not. All that is you guys, every listing I have has a clause that says, hey, anytime you're not happy, all you gotta do is call me and fire me. You know, nobody ever calls me and fires me, because I keep them happy. Okay. And I have agents ask me and worry about this too. The only reason you should ever worry about something like this is if you're not doing your job. If you're gonna do your job, you don't have to worry about it.
Sometimes it's good they go away.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes you want to exercise the termination.
Yeah, don't.
I used to love that. I used to love that.
What's that?
Do you put that in writing?
I do, absolutely.
That's when I tell people that, and they're like, well, they don't, you know.
They don't believe you. So I always tell them this. I say, you know what? It's funny, a lot of agents will say that, and it's lip service. We put it in writing for you in the listing.
I used to believe in that, but I think that, and this is really judgmental, it's just, I just think that there are some people
Uh-huh.
who are so difficult to guide, and
Uh-huh.
as patient and as humble as you are as you're guiding them, and they get a really rough spot in the road, and they want to strike out and fire you, and you
Yeah.
just want to peacefully let them do that, and you
Right.
keep working through it with them. I think if I had that clause with some clients, I think they'd fire me.
They're probably just fine.
Yeah, and I think if I just don't have, I just tell them, I don't want to hold you hostage.
Right.
Give me a little time to work
Right,
through this.
right.
If you honestly want to fire me, I'm gonna let you.
Yeah,
But I don't go to discussing it being in
Yeah.
writing.
I
But,
understand.
but I wouldn't hold somebody hostage, but I sure wanna
Yeah.
them to think I am while we work through their trauma.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, because you're kind of giving them the opportunity, like 2 weeks later, oh, yeah, you're not doing good.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, you're
Okay,
fine.
let's go.
Then, this is kind of a sold card. What do these homeowners have an offer? Well, they all listed with me and I sold a home, okay? If you had a proven and dependable way to measure your chance of success, when you place your home for sale, or what if you had a proven? Well, you do now. And then I sent them to sellabilityscale.com. It's just a list of 40 questions. Hey, if the higher number of questions are yes, the better chance you have of your home selling. Okay, feel free to go look at it and copy it. Now, so those are just the regular expireds. Here is an awesome database. I don't care if you're farming, just work in a general area, whatever the case is. This is awesome. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how awesome it is by giving you statistics. 879 listings in Berry Creek. The first year I worked at Berry Creek, I listed 12 homes. 6 of them were from a group of 71 people, and 6 of them were from a group of 808 people. Would you rather have the group of 71 or the group of 808?
71.
Here's what those 71 were. People whose homes had expired in Berry Creek in the last 5 years who had never relisted their home.
Yeah.
You guys, I did twice as much business because I worked that little group of 71. Okay. Now here's my thought. Well, you go to the MLS and you go back and find all the homes that expired, and then you go find all the homes that are active, under contract, or withdrawn, expired, and then you basically put the two together and you take out the duplicates. So then you know which ones who've expired never relisted. Does that make sense? Okay. So I market to those guys in addition to the major mailings.
Mhm.
Do you ever sleep?
I work fewer hours than anybody in here.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Once you've got all of this set up.
Once you have it set
and
up,
it's
it just,
it's automatic.
you got it,
Okay.
you got it.
So you set all this up by yourself?
Uh-huh.
I need
But it didn't happen overnight.
No, you gotta
It didn't happen
start.
overnight.
on Geek Squad to come in.
So I send them a modified package, it doesn't say, hey, your home just expired. It said, if your home has ever
Either
expired.
expired.
Okay? So I send them a modified package, and then I start putting them on marketing cards, mostly, okay? But information on marketing. But so when I send a mailing to Berry Creek as a neighborhood, guess what? They get that, right? Because they live in Berry Creek.
Mhm.
But I also have that little 71 that I send out special cards to.
Like you do your past clients, you
You got
always
it.
send them something, yeah, okay.
Okay, so here's what's important, you guys. The last 10 listings, 7 of those listings had, and I like to work in blocks of 10 because it's easy, right? So whenever my clients ask me a question, I don't give them some complex, convoluted answer. I say, my last 10 listings, if they say, well, you have open houses? Well, my last 10 listings, well, how fast do your home sell? Well, my last 10 listings, you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Okay, 6 of 10, 8 of 10, those are easy to remember. So 7 of my last 10 listings in my farm had multiple touches. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, they got the sold card series, sold, pending, et cetera, in the regular mailings, and were an expired, or had their home in the market where I previewed it. So what I'm saying is, the more they hear from you from different sources, the more likely they are to match you up to Berry Creek or to your farm area, okay? So the most likely people to list with you are people who see you, hear from you from different ways. That's why 6 came from a group of 71, because they heard from me from different ways versus 6 who just got regular mailings. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay, that's why previewing, out of the last 10, 4 I had actually previewed their home. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't have gotten those 4 listings, but I think there's a chance I wouldn't have.
Oh, could we see an example of your modified expired package?
You know what, I don't think I have the whole
When you
package
say
here.
modified, like, what specifically did you
Well,
change?
the expired package basically says you just expired from market. This says if you have expired in the past,
Ever.
you know, so the words have just changed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
got
Okay.
it.
And I think that's kind of the end of that. But if y'all want me to, I'll show you a few of the other cards that I send that have had success.
No, I don't think we're interested.
Okay.
Speak for yourself, Frank, you wanna see it by yourself, is that what you're
He's
saying?
already seen it.
I thought I had them all up, but apparently I don't. Y'all see that?
Did I tell him?
This'll help.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
All right, I'm gonna have to spend a couple minutes opening up. Y'all have any questions that I can help you with? before I
Do you
that?
do open houses, or do you just sell them like hotcakes? You don't
I,
even have hotcakes?
Okay, yeah.
You know, that's a question a lot of sellers ask. And my response to that is, first of all, if someone says, do you hold open houses? I said, you mind me asking why that came to mind? And they'll either say, well, the last house sold an open house, or they'll say, we hate open houses, you know. So I want to basically make my response kind of reflective of what their thought process
Okay.
is. But between me and you, I haven't held an open house since 1999.
Oh, I love that.
Well, you don't have to, and the reason you don't have to is because the internet has changed things so much.
Right.
You know, I tell, and once again, I'm sorry, I just try to be as blunt as I can. I say, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Sutton, you know the number one reason that open houses exist? So real estate agents can get leads.
That's right.
And I'm not gonna use your house to get leads.
Yeah.
Now, do I begrudge someone who owns open houses? Of course not. I used to do it all the time. But Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when I held an open house in 1984, I had 20 people come. In 1994, it was 10. In 1998, it was 1.
Well,
So-
in the Woodlands, they take our signs too, so.
And I think it's a kind of a liability issue on, you know, our safety and,
Yeah.
and jewelry was stolen from,
Yeah.
hidden jewelry was stolen from one of
Really?
our open houses.
That would never happen in Austin, everyone's honest.
Question, have you ever studied, just curious in your farm, the results of homes that have never resold yet? Do you have any, what is that like?
What do you mean?
Oh, you know, like, yeah, there's 879 homes, or there are 200 homes in there that have never turned over yet? The homes that have never,
Oh, people
One
that have
owner home.
lived, that have been there.
original owners?
Yes,
Do you have what is
yes,
your
most of
experience?
them are people who have raised their family and decided we don't need to downsize because our house is fine for us, okay? You've got a second type who is people who have downsized. They moved from a bigger house to one of the smaller houses in Berry Creek, and that's where they're gonna live out their lives.
What ratio is that type of owner in your neighborhood?
It's less than 10%,
Less than 10, so like 90 people are original owners at this point?
probably, yeah.
Okay.
Good question. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Steve,
Steve?
okay, I'll be the one to tell you the truth about our marketplace.
Okay.
So, you're under 450, 400,000, they're moving.
Okay.
The oil bust has really hampered the Woodlands
Yes,
marketplace,
yeah.
plus we got a reputation.
I grew up in Midland.
Okay, so, and we're not that bad, we haven't gotten the plywood out yet, we're not closing up the storefronts, but, and the Woodlands got a reputation of being overpriced over the past few years. So what you have is a lot of realtors farming those markets. kind of the 350 hotspot range. Everybody's, I mean,
Yep.
I live in that range and I get a phone call a day, I kid you not, and my mailbox a card a day. In your opinion, would it be a time to maybe market the non-moving areas that nobody's paying attention to?
No, I mean, I like the way you think, because that's a contrarian attitude. I had, and this will kind of help. I had an agent who, the statistics on this area were so awesome, they wanted to start farming it, okay? And I looked at it and said, if it's too good to be true, maybe it is. It was such a hot area. Guess what? The
There were
sellers didn't think they
5,000
needed
realtors.
the agents. So, they,
Oh,
but
okay.
I like the way you think. One of the reasons I chose Berry Creek is because it's not as on fire as some other neighborhoods. But if you get your foot in the door of an area that's not as hot, when the market starts to turn,
That's what I was thinking. Because like in my neighborhood, I can guarantee you that I haven't seen the same realtor sign in my neighborhood in the last 2 years.
there you go.
They don't even, they just, I swear to God, they just get online and just close their eyes and push a button.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get above 5 now,
Yep.
and I think those people are being ignored.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
But what about farming where you live? I've never done it.
That's a personal thing.
Yeah, that-
One of my agents is, I mean, she's like Miss Sonoma. Her neighborhood is called Sonoma. Yeah, Sonoma in
Yeah.
Round Rock, Texas, really. But everybody knows her, everybody loves her. I would never farm the area I live in, because I don't want to walk out with a sign on my next door neighbor's house.
Yeah, well, I'm
Him
looking at
seeing me
one right
goof
now.
around and going, how come you're not working? You know?
But they called me, I did not go after it,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
called me
But
because
that's,
they, you know.
yeah,
that
that's a
was
personal
different.
thing. Yeah.
But I had one right next door to me 4 years ago,
Yeah.
that sat there, and every time I pulled in my own driveway, I went, oh my God, that sign is still there. I couldn't wait to get rid of it, you know? But, and some people do, but I think it has to come to you, you can't go to them.
Well, it's a personal thing. Like I say, my agent loves being known by everybody in the neighborhood she lives in, and I'm just the opposite.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of
Well,
personal.
he's working with his neighbor right now, they just bought some property and they're gonna build, so every time he goes out to the mailbox.
What's going on with their house? Yeah.
Well, that's good, that's referred their son to me, so.
There you go. There you
You
go.
know, that's fine. Now, I'm glad you answered that question, because that was really one of the main reasons I came here, is what do you do when you're in a downturn market and everybody's going to the same
Yeah.
bait?
Contrarian. I like contrarian.
I
Okay.
agree.
Was your hand up?
Yes, when we're farming and we pick a area that we're going, where do you go to get the most accurate addresses? Do you just use MLS or do you use some?
I use the tax record.
Yeah.
Tax records.
Absolutely. Now, there's a little lag there, but I'll use the same mailing information from the tax records for a quarter, even 6 months before I bring in the new one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Where did you go to get all the, when you went to, in the very beginning to research your different neighborhoods?
Her question is, where did I get the information to research the neighborhoods? Just actually the MLS. The multiple listing has more information than you can imagine.
Just type in
Search
and there
on
wasn't
that.
like some
Yeah.
special
Stays
site
on.
that tells you
No.
everything,
Yeah,
magic.
yeah. Well, I do actually pull them into Excel,
Okay.
and then I sort them and do lots of things that way. But you can get all the information you need from the multiple
He
listing
loves
service.
the Excel. I don't understand it.
Anything else?
Can we keep you?
Well, let me give you,
Oh, do you share with other brands?
no way.
Okay, I'm just curious, how long have you been an RM guy?
5 years.
Okay. Who were you, you said you came back in '07?
I was with a big,
big
franchise,
competitor?
yeah.
KW?
No.
No, big company before.
Don't embarrass him.
telling you.
Come on.
Before these 5
Correct.
years, you're with
I
another?
was with a big local called JB Gooder Realtors,
Okay.
and then Prudential. But let me tell you this is one of my favorites about how you should think. Okay, no matter what industry you're in, like I said earlier, my agents don't read real estate books. That's not good or bad. I don't, I just want them to take things that have to do with consumers and the way consumers think. And I'll give you an example. You know what one of the most powerful words in the English language is to use in sales? The word because. If you say, well, should we write a contract today or tomorrow? And I say, well, the market's pretty hot. You might want to consider doing it now. It's much less effective than I say, well, you might want to consider it now because the market is so hot. Studies show this, okay? New York University did a study on this. Now, why do you think because is so powerful? Michelle knows, I know, because she's probably, how many kids you have?
Just one.
Okay, but when he was little and said, can I have some candy at the grocery store? And you said no, he said, why not? You said, because I said so.
Oh, ouch, yeah.
So it's psychological, it's really embedded. And there's a lot of little rules like that that I want my agents to learn and use and have as part of their arsenal when they're dealing with people.
Do you
Okay?
have any books like that you can think off the top of
Yeah.
your head that you recommend?
I do. There's an author called named Al Reese, R-I-E-S, who writes a lot of marketing books.
I've got
It's fantastic.
Yeah, great.
As a matter of fact, the first ones you might want to pick up. And the thing is, you think, well, this is a guy who does corporate marketing, but you can see that a lot of what we do, we do on a small scale. Okay.
Okay.
But 3 people were, this job search was now down to 3 people from thousands. And they were in for their last interview in front of a panel. And they said, we're going to ask you each one question before we decide who gets this job. And they asked the first one, what do you want people to say at your funeral? And she said, well, I want them to say that I was completely committed to whatever I was responsible for, that I always took responsibility for what was done well, and even if mistakes were made. They said, good answer. Second one, what do you want people to say at your funeral? He said, well, I want people to say that as committed as I am to my job, I'm even more committed to my family. They'll always come first, but my commitment to my job is without question. And good answer. Third one, what do you want people to say about you at your funeral? And he said, I want them to say, look, he's moving. So you got to think a little bit differently than everybody else. And if you think a little differently and provide service a little differently, then consumers are going to remember you. Okay?